Ghana calls bluff of the US and vows to fight visa restrictions using international law and dismisses as unfounded basis for US sanctions which kicked in today.
The government of Ghana has consistently not met in a timely way this internationally mandated standard of the UN Convention on International Civil Aviation, to which Ghana is a party.
We'll hear from the Foreign Affairs Ministry and interrogate both positions.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Bond Savings and Loans. Your success, our passion. GASM, the nation builder. Vodafone, the future is exciting, ready. And Nationwide Medical Health Insurance, your healthcare family. Ghana is tonight asserting its sovereignty in the face of sanctions by the United States of America, which has imposed visa restrictions on members of the Ghanaian executive and the legislature. Now, Joy News is learning of moves by Ghanaian officials to take on the U.S. using the international legal system. The U.S. has accused Ghana of failure to cooperate in a timely manner in facilitating the deportation of Ghanaians from the States. Now, Ghana has vehemently denied the claims. Just before we came on air, the U.S. Public Affairs Department told us their government stands by its decision to sanction Ghana, and nothing the government has said so far will change their hardline stance on the matter. In fact, the new U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan, has been speaking, accusing Ghana of violating both international and U.S. laws.
For more than 2 years, including as far back as July 2016, the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of State have been working with the Ghana Embassy in Washington and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration here in Accra for Ghana to issue travel documents, such as passports, within 30 days to Ghanaian citizens who are subject to deportation orders. The government of Ghana has consistently not met in a timely way this internationally mandated standard of the UN Convention on International Civil Aviation, to which Ghana is a party. Timely issuance of these passports helps facilitate deportees' departure on commercial flights. When Ghana or another country does not issue the passports in a timely way, the United States government has to employ charter flights for some of these deportations. And in some cases, is required under our law to release those under final order of removal within the United States. Effective Monday, February 4th, we will pause issuance of all new visas for domestic employees of Ghanaian diplomats posted in the United States. In addition, we are limiting the normal 5-year validity for tourist and business visas for all Ghanaian executive and legislative branch employees, their spouses, and children under age 21 to single entry visas valid for just 1 month. Also, Ghanaians who hold diplomatic and official passports face these same restrictions for tourist and business visas, even if they are not government employees. We hope to work closely together with Ghanaian authorities to resolve this issue promptly. The U.S. government will lift these limitations when the Ghanaian consulates in the United States issue the required passports and demonstrate they can consistently provide timely issuance of these travel documents for these citizens going forward. If there is not progress in meeting these obligations in the coming months, the U.S. government could expand measures to include additional categories of people and or discontinue additional types of visas.
So that is Stephanie Sullivan. She is the new U.S. ambassador to Ghana. Over the weekend, our Foreign Affairs Ministry released an uncompromising statement on the developments. My colleague, Joseph Gakpo, has details of that and joins me with that. Gakpo, U.S. accuses Ghana of failure to cooperate. What is Ghana's position on that?
So the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says it wishes to state that it has always cooperated with the U.S. authorities in the processing and removal of Ghanaian citizens who have been cited for deportation from the U.S. to Ghana. The statement goes on to say, as is the requirement and in accordance with international law, the Ghana Embassy in Washington undertakes identification and verification processes to ensure that all persons earmarked for deportation to Ghana are bona fide citizens of Ghana. All countries undertake these processes to accept their deported citizens from all over the world, and it's not peculiar to Ghana and the US, the statement says. It goes on to make the point that the identification and verification mechanisms has stipulated times and procedures which are communicated to the deporting authorities at all times.
Okay, Joseph, I've just been joined on the telephone line by the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, Charles Oredu. Mr. Oredu, I'm grateful that you joined us here on Top Story.
Evans, I'm grateful.
You state in the part that we just heard from my colleague that it's not true that you've not cooperated with the U.S. That is a direct contradiction of the U.S. position. What are the facts to back this position?
Evans, I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I send my regards to all your listeners. Evans, somewhere in 2017, early 2017, I think somewhere around February, the former U.S. Ambassador Jackson, paid a courtesy call on the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Shelayo Kubuchi. And I sat in that meeting, though I wasn't the Deputy Minister then, but our Minister was gracious enough to allow me sit in. In that meeting, Ambassador Jackson raised these issues, that they've been having discussions with the former government, and that there were some 7,000 Ghanaians, who were in the U.S. awaiting Ghana to issue traveling certificates to enable them to be deported to Ghana. So at that meeting, we requested for a copy of the list, the so-called 7,000 list. Evans, up till today, we don't have that list. So on Friday, when we got wind of the statement issued by the Department of Homeland Security, we quickly got in touch with our mission in Washington to find out what actually the case was. And per the statistics we were given, Evans, as at 8th January 2019, we had received only 28 applications from the Department of Homeland Security in the U.S. Out of the 28 applications, we had interviewed 19 people. Out of the 19, we had issued 11 people or 11 Ghanaians with travel certificates to enable them to be deported to Ghana. Evans, these people are normally, in terms of those who are subjected to deportation orders, are people who normally commit criminal acts, people who are a threat to American public safety, people who violate, the visa regime and whatnot. They have their own processes. Once you are convicted, you are sent to a detention camp. They are spread across the United States. From the detention camp, you are sent to an immigration court where your matter is adjudicated. Once you are found culpable, then our mission is informed that we have some people here who have, flouted our laws and all that, and they've been found culpable. And we suspect that they are citizens of your country. So once we get this information, we go there, to do our identification and verification. And we have our own, because these people don't have a means of identification on them. Some of the things we do, Evans, we ask your name, where you schooled in in Ghana, where you schooled, the village where you hailed from. You have siblings, can we have their names? Where do you have a local pastor? Do you have an odiko? Where do you go to church? Can we have the names? Can we have any contact numbers? We do all these checks. Once we are sure that these people are Ghanaians, we issue travel certificates. There's been no occasion where we flouted on this measure. So to us, seriously, we think that this statement issued by the Department of Homeland Security is without merit and there's no justification whatsoever.
It's interesting you give those statistics about the numbers you've issued travel certificates for, which is 11, 19 in all been interviewed, 28 applications in all. However, if you read the U.S. statement, and just before we came on, I must say, I had reached out to the U.S. Public Affairs Department and I had put to them the additional details that you had put out that directly contradict the U.S. statement and their position. They came back to me and said, our statement stands. In other words, regardless of what you said and the details and evidence you have provided, the U.S. is not budging. they are still insisting, quote, that you are denying and unreasonably delaying accepting the return of your nationals.
Evans, we will gladly accept Ghanaians who are Ghanaians, but we will not be coerced to accept Ghanaians. We will not be coerced to accept citizens of other countries who are not Ghanaians. Evans, we've done what we are supposed to do. We do the due diligence. I believe that there's going to be a reversion to the status quo. And what is happening, I think there's a mistake somewhere. We've activated a dialogue mechanism. As we speak now, there are discussions in Washington at the State House. We are providing the evidence that we have. Probably there's a miscommunication somewhere, but not from our end. If it's from their end, well, we are providing what we have, what we receive from them, and what we've done. They can also come out. Even you are claiming he told you that they are standing by. Have they showed you the applications they sent to us? They only, after 8 January, they only had 28 applications. As at now, we've not had the 7,000 applications they are talking about. There is no formal request to us to issue 7,000 travel documents to Ghanaians. If they do have that document, they can make it public. We don't have it. But Evans, at the end of the day, we don't want to be seen, jaw-jawing and all that, because in diplomacy we have what we call reciprocity. We don't believe we believe in dialogue, because after all, there's a lot of American interest in Ghana. Likewise, there's a lot of Ghanaian interest in America. They have a lot of American companies here, Newmont Gold, Anadarko Petroleum, Cosmos Energy, and all that. Apart from that, in terms of their relationship with us, we've been cooperating. We have American president visiting us. We have the we have the first lady of America visiting us last year. They were part of this Akosombo Dam and all that. Apart from that, a lot of Ghanaian students also go to school in America. We also go to enhance the economy. There are a lot of Ghanaians in America and all that. We think that there's a mistake somewhere. Probably, I don't know what went wrong, but from our end, we've not, deterred on our responsibility in terms of issuing traveling certificates when they need be. I still think that there's a way out. One, as we speak, like I told you earlier, our officials in Washington are still engaging with them. We don't have anything to add. There's no outstanding request from them that is still standing. We are working on every request that you've brought to us, and we believe, like I said earlier, that at the end of the day, there's going to be a reversion to this to the status quo.
Over the weekend, we got a statement from the Jubilee House indicating that the president is traveling to a number of countries, I think 3 countries, including the U.S. Is it part of something that he will be pursuing there whilst he's there himself?
Evans, I can't confirm that, but the president already had his planned program. And so remember, we only got this on Friday.
Yes.
This notification from the Department of Homeland Security on Friday. Then the president's itinerary had been planned already. He was visiting South Africa, from there to the U.S., then attend the AU summit in Addis Ababa. I can't speak to that. But from what we are doing, we are still engaging the necessary authorities, both home, in terms of the U.S. Embassy and Washington, D.C.
Okay, and the sanctions as imposed on the executive and the legislature, as well as domestic employees of diplomats in the U.S., kicks in today. Have you checked if they already applying this as of today? Because that's what the indication was.
Yes, Evans, we had some people on the ground. We've sent some applications, from government officials and the CEOs of subvented government agencies who are traveling. The visas are yet to be issued. So as of now, I can't tell whether they've begun or not. But we'll wait until we get the visas. Then we also take the next line of action.
In the statement you issued, the final paragraph said the ministry is assessing the situation and will institute appropriate measures within the context of international law. What does it mean? Is that should we take that to mean possible legal action using the international legal system?
We are using all laws at our disposal, including the dialogue mechanism, and we want to make sure, because we are not at fault. We've not committed any crime. We've not done anything illegal. We've not, we've not stayed on, these processes. We've done whatever is due us. We want to be diligent as a country to make sure that those who are brought in, are people that we consider to be Ghanaians. We've had cause to complain. sometimes with the way they treat Ghanaians when they are being deported. Even we've spoken about this earlier, where Ghanaians are brought in chains, and they are handcuffed on the seats of the planes, of the aircraft that are brought to Ghana and whatnot. Now, we reach an understanding that subsequently, if they are bringing such deportees, you're going to have a Ghanaian officer, on board, so that some of these things, because when we complain, they say, oh, it's not true, or the people were violent and whatnot. We think that in all this, let's sound a reasoning prevail. We are not doing anything illegal. We've been consistent. We are claiming that it's 28 applications. We provided the evidence. If they've said something contrary, they should also provide the evidence. But at the end of the day, let's sit down, let's work things out, and let's continue to deepen our relationship.
And very finally, I guess as of now, this is only affecting people like yourself and the members of parliament and the diplomatic, those who hold diplomatic passports and domestic workers of diplomats. But they've warned us that if this is not resolved soon, they will extend it to everybody else, including myself and the millions of people listening to us, listening to us right now. That is the concern. What assurances do you have that we won't get there?
Evans, I'm using your platform to assure Ghanaians that on behalf of the president, that of the foreign minister, we will do whatever it's possible to make sure that there's a reversion to this order. Though there's reciprocity in terms of international relations, it's about you do me, I do you. I don't believe, and government doesn't believe that we should get there. We think that there's a mistake somewhere. We don't know where they are getting their information from. We don't know where they are getting their facts from. At the end of the day, when we present their facts, when sound reasoning prevails, I'm sure that, there's going to be a reversion. Trust me. So we will not even get there. So, Evans, you have the opportunity to spend this summer in the United States of America.
Hallelujah. My final question, just before you go, the specifics of the law that the U.S. states to back their decision is a law that they claim gives you a time frame within which to issue the travel document for the deportation to happen, which is the International Civil Aviation UN Convention. That gives you 30 days, I think they say. These 19 you've processed and 11 that you've issued certificates for, was it done in a timely manner to comply with this international regulation and convention?
Evans, it's not so much about us meeting an international deadline. The U.S. itself, per 2001 Supreme Court order, they are supposed to release deportees who do not have travel documents after 180 days. So you can just check with their system. 2001 Supreme Court order. They are supposed to release after 180 days if a deportee, somebody who is subject to a deportation order, has not been given a travel document. That person is supposed to be released. And this is what they are trying, to guard against. No, for us, we also have our processes. Even like I told you, we have our own processes. We need to be sure. But we don't want a situation where at the end of the day we bring in people who are not citizens of this country here. We can't do that. And then for that, trust me, we will not budge. But we want to make sure that we do the right thing. And like I said, we believe that at the end of the day, we can sit down once we've proven or we've shown the documents that we have, once we've demonstrated that we've never, stayed on these requests that they brought in. I'm sure that there's going to be a reversion. We will not even get to where they are even threatening more sanctions. Ghana is a sovereign country. We have our own laws here. And we will not sit down for anybody to just dictate to us. No, we will make sure that whatever we do, we also comply with our local laws.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That is the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister, Charles Oredu. As you know, the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, have been taking a keen interest in this very matter. I've been joined on a telephone line by the ranking member on that committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. Mr. Ablakwa, I'm grateful that you joined us here on Top Story. This story has moved very quickly since it first broke. I think on Thursday, when the U.S. Homeland Security issued that statement, government has a position. The U.S. has come back to say that they are not budging in spite of the specifics that government has provided to show that they are cooperating. How is this resolved? I mean, knowing that your committee also has an interest in this matter.
Thank you very much, Evans. Good evening to you and to all distinguished listeners. You are right that this is a matter that has engaged the attention of the Committee on Foreign Affairs. I can confirm to you that last Friday we dispatched a letter to the Honorable Foreign Minister requesting a meeting with the Committee on Foreign Affairs. And I am hoping that the ministry will respond accordingly. We have listened to the ministry, read their public statement, and we have also read the statement from the Department of Homeland Security. It does appear to us that this whole development is quite worrying. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Department of Homeland Security's advice to Mike Pompeo, who finally gave orders for these sanctions to be handed down to Ghana, at odds. The two positions are not the same. Whereas the U.S. government is saying that our government has not been cooperating, our government insists that they have cooperated so far as the information from our embassy in Washington is concerned. We are beginning to wonder at the Committee of Foreign Affairs whether there may be other precipitating factors that probably is not out now in the open domain. But it is important that in these sensitive matters, we ask for calm, that cool heads prevail, that we use a lot of backdoor channel diplomacy. I am gladdened that we did have a meeting with the ambassador today. She paid a courtesy call on the Speaker of Parliament and the leadership of Parliament. I refer to the new U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Ambassador Stephanie Sullivan, and gauging from her body language and how she insists that she will want Ghana-U.S. relations to continue to grow in leaps and bounds. I can tell that there is some commitment when you engage with officials from the U.S. government that they do not want to see our relations get jeopardized. So it will be important for our government officials to engage. If you read the last paragraph of the Department of Homeland Security statement, they said, quote, "We hope the Ghanaian government will work with us to reconcile these deficiencies quickly," unquote. So there's some window of opportunity there, and that's what the Foreign Affairs Committee will be doing when we engage with the ministry. We'll be trying to assist and see how we can all explore venues for quick diplomatic engagement that will prevent an escalation of this matter.
And very quickly, one of the options, as we've just heard the Deputy Foreign Affairs Minister confirm, is the use of international law, use an international legal system to also fight this. You think Ghana should, if it becomes necessary, take that option?
I believe strongly that already international law is on the side of the Ghanaian government. If you read closely the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, 1963, it is clear that all persons who are your citizens who require consular assistance, once they request, you have no choice. These 7,000 people, whatever the number is, 7,000, 28, 800, 1,000, even if it's one person, we owe a duty to those persons to extend to them consular relations, to be sure that, first of all, they are your nationals, they are indeed Ghanaians. Secondly, to look on a case-by-case basis to ascertain what the facts are, the veracity of the charges against them. Some of them, remember, are also going through domestic legal processes in the United States of America. They need to be assisted with lawyers to exhaust, because some of them may have a defense. So international law, I believe, is strongly on our side. But once again, I would recommend that we should not go too legalistic and be bombastic with the rhetoric and even threaten, if you like, reciprocal actions at this point. I think that is early days yet, and that we should engage behind the scenes using backdoor diplomatic channels. This also raises the matter of our negotiation capacity and skills. It was not too long ago that we had an opportunity to negotiate with the Americans on the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. The question you asked, Evans, is that we knew before we started this negotiation on the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement about this so-called 7,000 Ghanaians. Why didn't we put it on the table? Why didn't we at least elicit some commitment from the United States government that they will at least, change their posture towards these Ghanaians? We appear to have been so generous and giving the Americans all of what they requested, and now see what is happening to us. So lessons ought to be learned when we have the opportunity to negotiate with the United States of America or any other country for that matter. We should try and improve our negotiation skills. We should look at all the gamut of issues that we can present on the table and negotiate from a position of strength. It will help us. I believe that is one of the strong lessons, because now you can't go back to that Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. It's been ratified by Parliament, assented to by the President, so they have what they want, and then here we are struggling with this deportation issue.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That's Samuel Kudeta Blakwa, is the ranking member on that Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament. Let's quickly get the thoughts of Dr. Vladimir Ntredanso. He's the international relations expert who also joins us on the line. Dr. Vladimir Ntredanso, so we know the two positions. Government says they're considering all options to dealing with this matter. What's your own take?
Well, basically, every country has a right to declare who enters and who doesn't enter. That is the right of every country. And if Americans are asking some people to leave their country, whether on persona non grata basis or on any other criminal charges, they have that right. But the Ghana government doesn't have to be stampeded in just issuing documents to any other person who purports to be a Ghanaian or whom somebody has told us is a Ghanaian. So in that light, and again, those citizens also have every right to fight their deportation, whatever it is. So it looks as though the U.S. government is trying to stampede the Ghana government to do what is normally done, not done in international diplomacy, where consular services are concerned. The threats were unnecessary, very uncalled for. We needed to jaw. Since 2016, the Ghana government has made it clear that there are a lot of things to be sorted out before they could issue documents, and they've started issuing documents to those who have gone through the mail. So why the threat? And so because normally your center of gravity, if it is weak, any other government tries to exploit it. And this is one of the ways to exploit the situation, because they know that our retaliation will not be forthcoming in this sense of our relationship.
Well, I'm grateful to hear your thoughts on this. That's Vladimir Ntredanso.
It's time to experience something different.